Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a restful night. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be kickstarting our day with an exciting session on Politics 2.0. I would now like to call upon stage our speakers and our moderator. And the chair and the moderator for today's session is Mr. Rajdeep Roy. He's the Member of Parliament from Silchar, Assam. Welcome, sir. And with that, I hand over to Sir to take us forward. Thank you so much.
Hello. So good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the opening batsmen of today's play. I would like to welcome each and everybody of you to this India 2.0, rebooting to meta era, and particularly to this session, Politics 2.0. Politics 2.0, as it seems like, maybe new concept to many of us present. Initially, when I got the program where I would be speaking on 2.0, I asked this question to myself: 2.0 is what? And rather, what was 1.0? So if you have to speak on 2.0, you need to know what 1.0 was. That's my first understanding. So the politics of last yesteryears and all, to be very honest, with no offense meant for anybody, was very, slow starter. It was not a very open-ended issue. Politics was always top-down approach. Politics amongst whatever be the form of democracy was handed over to the masses. Whatever be the so-called diktats were issued to the people who used to, follow certain guidelines, certain set of rules and all. So that's where politics 1.0 was like. Participation of the common man was not there much. In the last, say maybe 1 or 2 decades, politics has changed, a drastic change. Politics is actually the reflection of the society. Whatever changes has taken place in society gets reflected in our politics. And the major changes that has taken in the society is the overwhelming presence of internet all across the world. Population of the world, if you look at, almost same number of cell phone users, mobile users are there all across the world. If you leave aside Central Africa and East Africa, the presence of internet and mobile phone is almost anywhere between 60-65% to 95% in Scandinavian countries. So politics has taken a drastic change because the society has changed because of the input of technology in our day-to-day life. As politicians, if you look back at 2008 Barack Obama election, you will see the first footprints of technology in politics when Barack Obama introduced his connection tools, be it Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, or whatever, across all platforms. He connected with the American masses, be it his fundraisers, be it deciding his policies. And from there on, in 2014 in India, we saw Narendra Modi's campaign taking a leap. Even before his detractors in other parties could understand the impact of social media and usage of internet and social media as a communication tool, Narendra Modi ji was way ahead of others. So today we are in an era when technology is driving politics. So it's an interesting partnership between politics and technology. We'll come to all these as we talk. I would initially ask our esteemed panelists, you are aware of Priya Sehgalji. She will be making her initial remarks. If there are any questions from any other panelist, she will answer. We'll take questions from the House at the later part of the program. So let's carry on with the free-flowing discussion of Politics 2.0, what we understand, and then what the audience feel how things should be. Priyaji, all yours.
Prime Minister Modi and is really, a bleak landscape for the opposition.
Thank you, Priyaji. You have actually hit the nail on the head. One very important remark you have made is that despite our social media presence, actually when you are in a campaign mode, especially in the last 1 month or so, the physical presence of the candidates and the leadership amongst the constituents is the most ultimate and is the most crucial thing. Through social media, you can actually direct your plans and policies and everything. You have talked about Rahul Gandhi, you have talked about Prime Minister Modi. We'll come to that in the course of the discussion. I would now ask Lobsang, a Tibetan by origin, had his schooling in the hills of Darjeeling. Hills I say because in Delhi it is dead summer, though not here. So, name of Lobsang will bring the temperature down in the hall, I suppose. Lobsang, all yours.
With democracy mantra. With the blessings of Lord Buddha and Lord Shiva, it is karmic destiny that democratic model will succeed. Shukriya, Jai Jagat, Jai Bharat, Jai Tibet.
Thank you, Lobsang. You have brought in a very pertinent question to the discussion. The question is, which is the best form of governance? Well, for the last thousands years in particular, maybe more thousands of years back, people have experimented with the best type of governance. The last word about the best type of governance is yet to be written. But as per whatever data and our experience shows over the last 1,000 years, as of now, we think that probably democracy is probably the best form of governance. Maybe it can be, updated in various forms. One more question that you have brought in is that participation of the people. That's what Politics 2.0 is all about. I have a data, I will give that to you at a later stage. But think of a country, India, where 1.4 billion people stays, and we have 1.14 billion handset connections, with 33% of the population are into social media, and 47% of our population using internet all over This revolution has started in the last few years. People are now more and more participating. In our country now, say between the age of 16 to 64, 64% of our population is in that range. And they want the country to run on meritocracy. People with merit should come forward. People who are achievers should come forward, take pole position, take leadership position. Now, I'll go back to Priya. She mentioned about Rahul Gandhi coming every morning, giving a tweet, and then, not there to follow it up, has issued a big credibility question on Rahul Gandhi. So obviously, all these will be discussed, and these are food for thought for people to, question us also and the system also. I thank you for your opening remarks. I would now request Ms. Abhinandita to give her opening remarks. On certain fronts, we must be, magnanimous enough to accept that your party is doing quite well as far as involving the population into the so-called, dialogue and debates in governance. The aspirational India that we talk of sometimes, this aspirational India who wants technology at their fingertips, wants every news in every corner of the world in their fingertips through a smartphone or a mobile, they do not have the time to wait for the next day morning's newspaper. say they do not have the time. They want everything. So we are seeing a generation change which is shifting. Everybody almost 7 hours on the internet, 2.5 to 4 hours, Indian population I'm talking of, on social media platforms and all, taking the time to see their Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So obviously my question to Priyaji is, how does she see the coming generation of politicians handle this change in the political discourse? Will the coming generation of politicians in India adapt to the changes that are taking place through technology?
I think the coming Politics 2.0 will work a lot depending on how the mass media, electronic media and social media works. The influence of electronic media has been elaborated by Lepsang. Priya talked a little about the control of what you want to hear and what you want to read. But it's much more than that. It is mind control. It is mind conditioning. It is not just what you want to see. They throw upon you with the use of AI what you don't even want to see. So slowly your mind is conditioned and your thought process are conditioned before you even realize. Cambridge Analytica, everybody knows. So how far this will go and how would people's independence of thinking will be affected by this particular control of social media over the human mind? That is very important unless that is understood. And as Rajdeep ji said, talking directly to the electorate, that is another point that is very important. So how far can we control the social media or the AI-made control of the human mind and the voter's mind? That is point one. Point two, I read a news about women in Australia coming together, forming a group called TEAL, your Tea Party kind. And they have made candidates in the election to fight the conventional politicians. That is something what AAP did some times back, but slowly it converted to typical political party. So these kind of movements also will affect the coming of the Politics 2.0. So Lepsang's view on this mass media, the social media control of the mind and how to overcome that, and to you about people's movement in India then getting converted to very normal pedestrian political movements. Thank you.
I think it's more comment. I think, unfortunately, the social media is owned and run by multinational companies and is privatized. So profit, influences how you use social media, So unfortunately, we thought the earth is flat. Now social media has come. Knowledge is in your smartphone. Actually, smartphone is not so smart if it's controlled by your government, So this is the reality. Now the government and private sector have to, fight it out. And there has to be some balance as to how you use or misuse, technology and platforms. So this is a major debate. I think that needs another, another panel. So with that, I would like to thank Rajdeep ji and everybody, my panelists, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Lepsang ji. So here we are almost at the end. The closing remark is very simple. It is almost like a single line, that Politics 2.0 will be more tech-driven. It will be more open. It will be a data-oriented issue where everything will be a both-way communication. It will not be a top-down approach. It will also be a bottom-up approach. Whatever data you have to analyze. The smart politician or the smart political party or the smart political conglomerate would be that party who will analyze those data, go into dissection of those data, and then implement those data in effective policy making. So that, I think, will be the future of Politics 2.0. I would like to thank all my esteemed panelists for being so forthright, and I thank the audience for being so cooperative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, panel, for such an exciting and relevant conversation. Sir, may I please request you to felicitate our panel before we move on to the next session? A huge round of applause for all of them, please. May I now request Smita Barua to please come up on stage and felicitate our moderator, Mr. Rajdeep Roy. And after Politics 2.0, we'll be moving on to Commerce and Industry 2.0 very shortly. So please stay at your seats, and you'll see our next moderator and person to take us forward. It'll be very exciting. Thank you so much.